Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're cutting through all the noise. We're looking at the absolute core engine of wealth creation, pulled directly from day 5 of FinFlow Media's 100-day wealth challenge. If you're tuning in because you feel like you're making decent money, but you're never actually getting ahead, like you're just endlessly running on this exhausting financial treadmill, well, you're in the exact right place. We're going to bypass all the complicated theories and get straight down to the foundation of how money actually operates in the real world. So let's jump right in. So strip away all the complex jargon, throw out those incredibly thick financial textbooks, and forget about that confusing stock market terminology that just makes everyone's eyes glaze over. At the end of the day, personal finance really just boils down to this one simple yet constantly misunderstood rule. The wealthy focus all their energy on acquiring assets, while the middle class acquire liabilities. But, and here is the absolute kicker, they are completely convinced they're actually building wealth. It's an illusion, and honestly, it's the tragedy of the middle class. They're playing the game of money incredibly hard, but they're playing it with a totally backward set of rules. Okay, so to really master this, we have to look at our money through a very binary, almost ruthless lens. An asset is anything, and I mean literally anything, that puts money into your pocket while you sleep. A liability? It's the exact opposite. It takes money out of your pocket, right? The reason so many people fail financially is that they go out and buy this massive liability, and then they proudly pat themselves on the back and call it an asset. A perfect example is a massive primary residence. Sure, yeah, it might appreciate over a 30-year timeline, but right now, today, it's demanding property taxes, a huge mortgage, a new roof, constant upkeep. It is actively taking money out of your pocket every single month. By this strict definition, until that house actually pays you, it's a liability. Now, I know what you're thinking. This concept of cash flowing in versus cash flowing out, it sounds like absolute common sense, doesn't it? Yet a staggering 90% of society completely misses the mark here. 90%. They just get trapped in this exhausting cycle, trading hours for dollars at a job they probably don't even like, only to turn around and hand those hard-earned dollars right back out to fund their liabilities. It's like they've gamified their spending instead of their investing. This overwhelming majority spends their entire lives working to build someone else's wealth, simply because they don't actually understand the direction their own cash is flowing. Let's look at exactly what constitutes the classic middle-class dream. We're talking about a luxury sports car bought on heavy finance, upgrading to a brand new $1,000 smartphone every single year just to get a slightly better camera, or maybe a closet that is just overflowing with designer clothes. Society parades all these items around as markers of high net worth. Like, hey, if you have the boat, you must be rich, right? But mathematically speaking, these items are aggressive, unyielding cash drains. They are the exact anchors keeping that 90% permanently stuck in the rat race. Actually, let's just break down the math on one of those items, just to brilliantly illustrate how deep this trap really goes. 20%. That is the massive chunk of value a brand new car loses the absolute second its tires hit the public road. Poof, gone. You sign the papers, you shake the dealer's hand, and instantly, literally instantly, 20% of your wealth just vanishes into thin air. If you finance that car, man, you are mathematically in the negative right out of the gate. You're essentially paying interest on value that no longer exists before you even have a chance to park the thing in your driveway. That is what it actually means to be completely underwater on a loan. And the crazy thing is that immediate, massive loss, that's just the entry fee. The financial bleeding doesn't stop there. Because that car needs expensive insurance, it constantly drinks fuel, it begs for scheduled maintenance, and it carries that hefty monthly loan payment. It's essentially this relentless, recurring subscription service that drains your pocket every single day. And the absolute worst part is, you can't just click cancel when you get tired of paying for it. By our core definition from earlier, it is a textbook, wealth-destroying liability. So how in the world do we break out of this? Well, it requires a complete rewiring of how you view a paycheck. We really have to look at how the wealthy think about capital allocation. When a wealthy investor takes home a profit or scores a big bonus, they don't immediately ask, oh, what can I go buy to impress my neighbors? Money isn't seen as fruit to be eaten right now. It's seen as seeds to be planted for later. Instead of hunting for a lifestyle upgrade, they ask themselves one very specific, very powerful question. What asset can I buy today that will generate even more income for me tomorrow? They are constantly looking for the next engine to build their wealth, not the next anchor to drag them down. Exactly. Instead of anchors, the wealthy buy engines, real assets. These are your true income generators. We're talking about a dividend-paying stock that reliably deposits cold, hard cash directly into your account every single quarter, totally regardless of whether the stock price goes up or down. Or maybe it's a rental property that pays its own mortgage and then leaves you with a few $100s of pure profit every single month. It might be a piece of intellectual property, a digital media channel, or maybe just an index fund that sits there, compounding silently in the background over decades, thanks to the unbelievable math of compound interest. These are the mechanical engines that work tirelessly for you, especially when you don't. And that brings us to the true mathematical definition of financial freedom. The secret here isn't just grinding away for a higher salary at your day job. Why? Because if your underlying mindset doesn't fundamentally change, a higher salary usually just ends up funding much bigger liabilities. You just upgrade from financing a Honda to financing a BMW. True freedom is a strict mathematical equation. Let's say your life costs exactly $4,000 a month to run. Financial freedom happens at the exact moment the passive cash flow from your assets hits $4,001. Because when you hit that exact crossover point, something magical happens. Working becomes completely optional. At that point, you aren't just buying stocks or real estate anymore. You are literally buying back your time. Your assets pay for your basic existence. Your stress levels absolutely plummet. And for the very first time in your life, you completely own your calendar. You can work because you want to, not because you have to keep the lights on. Time is the ultimate asset, and this is exactly how you purchase it. Okay, so to actually start building this starting today, FinFlow Media lays out 3 non-negotiable steps. First, you must run a brutal audit on your monthly spending. Go pull up last month's bank statement, go through it line by line, and just face the reality of your financial habits. It might sting a bit, but do it. Second, track exactly where your surplus cash flows the minute your essential bills are paid. Is it going straight to depreciating liabilities? If it is, third, you have to consciously pivot. You gotta stop funding things that lose value and violently redirect that capital toward acquiring those income-generating assets we just talked about. It's all a big game of capital redirection. As we wrap up this explainer, I really want you to take a hard, honest look at your financial life today. If you had to stop working tomorrow, how long would your current assets actually sustain you? A week? Maybe a month? A year if you're lucky? Look, the math behind wealth creation is incredibly simple, but escaping that psychological trap of chasing liabilities, that requires some real discipline. The engine of wealth is right there, ready for you to build it. But the real question is, are you finally ready to turn the key?